Hey, welcome everyone to the Sketch Zone podcast. I'm Carlos Gomez, and we're one Charlie short. Not really sure what Charlie is.
Hey, it's me. I'm back. Sketch Zone Nation.
I have a joke, but it might come off. It might come off as mean, and I don't want to make Charlie mad. That's my boy. Anyway, but we do have Jack Casper, Zach.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm back. What's up, Sketch Zone Nation?
Oh, hey, if you're watching live, go ahead and use the chat room. Otherwise, you can. That's right. Sketch Zone Hotline. 408 Sketch 8 408 753 8248. International caller 011 408 753 8248. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get into.
Let's go to the canvas here and let's get started. I believe every day's a good day when you paint.
I'm sitting here singing the song and I forgot to share my screen.
Getting too excited about the Bob Ross song.
All right, everyone. We're looking at Werewolf Fencing Woods.
That was a funny one. I like the combo.
Yeah, it was. We had a lot of really good. There's one of these that's obviously we're gonna go right in here, and this one's obviously solid because Shiloh's the man. The forest is coming out, the woods are coming out, and so the werewolf has to fence them in.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that he almost made the werewolf like the hero. You know, when you'd almost expect the werewolf to be the bad guy. Yeah. He's getting. Even the owl is like, yeah, you better build that fence.
Yeah. That's really cool. It looks like the trees look like evil pumpkins.
Yeah, at first when I first saw it, I thought they actually were pumpkins, and then you look a little closer and it's like, oh, obviously it's trees. I think it's just the kind of orangey coloring.
Either way, it's still wonderful. I love this dude. His work is so outstanding, solid, outstanding every time. Let's take a look. Art Joey Wall.
Yeah, that was cool. I like the rim lighting.
Yeah. Yeah, this technique is, I don't know if we've seen anything like this so far. It's really cool. I like it. Nice approach. So we have a werewolf. The werewolf got stabbed.
Got stabbed by the fencing.
By the.
What do you call those fencing needles?
Foil.
The foil. There you go.
Yes. Every once in a while, I know what I'm talking about. Cool. I like this one. It gets deeper and deeper the more you stare at it. And the moon. I like the way he delivered the moon. It's really cool.
Yeah, kind of stylized, sorely.
We have B.W. Taylor illustrated.
Come at me, Granny.
Back red, pop.
Is not well.
Is not well. Oh, back red, pop is not well. Because that's Grandpa. But Grandma's about to get into Grandpa's ass. Look at, she's got that proper foiling style and technique. The arm behind.
Granny.
I like it. Well played, BW.
It almost looks like there's a face on the moon behind Granny there. It's like a creepy kind of
right there,
angry face.
Hey,
Landon. Welcome.
Landon, you want to come draw with us?
Yeah, you want to come share your screen and draw? We're going to do a drawing show.
This was my favorite this week, just because the humor behind it was pretty hilarious.
I did not. I got to say, I didn't see it coming.
Yeah. We just got to fence this area of the woods and we're done. So we should be done before nightfall, right? Yeah. He sees the moon. And then he turns into brah. So good. So good.
I love that.
Well played, Iggy Doodles. Well played.
That's very good use of the multi-Instagram image.
Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect use, actually.
Yeah. And this is actually, I'm glad you said it that way, because now that triggered some thoughts where we can talk about some technology and stuff later. Oh, hey, Sketchbook Jack chimes in again.
It just went weird there.
When I saw it, I was like, yes, there we go. I liked it a lot.
This is just weird.
The styling is, I'm a bit tired today.
You are?
Oh, good. No, Landon. I was reading the chat room. Yeah, I like this a lot.
Getting into them chickens. Or turkeys. I don't really know what that is. All right.
Awesome. So
all
this
right,
is
coconut.
All right. So you obviously have the moon. You obviously have the werewolf. So the werewolf, check.
Now, I figured out the woods.
The Woods, Tiger Woods, James Woods, Elijah Wood.
Got that.
So now fencing. In the streets, if you're a fence, you basically buy stolen stuff to sell on the streets to make money.
Just a term I never heard. Okay.
Yeah. So those guys that open up their coats and they have a bunch of watches and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Those are called fences. They're a fence. Yeah. So that was
very multi-layered.
I was like, I have to come up with something clever because this werewolf is going to wear me out.
And he's a giant werewolf. He's either giant or he's shrunk humans.
Yeah, I don't know. I wanted to make them tiny because otherwise they wouldn't fit in his coat.
Yeah. No. It works really well.
Nah, there you go, Landon. Landon's like, I don't get it until just now.
Yeah. Clever interpretation.
I know I was reaching. No.
I like it, because it makes for kind of a funny, interesting image.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Let's see. Someone else. Oh, look at that.
Uh-oh. What happened?
So after we show Landon's, he's probably going to log off. But so we have werewolf fencing woods. They were fencing, and now the werewolf is taking a nap because he's tired and drunk and been smoking cigarettes.
Man, he's a bender.
Yeah. Looks like there's some. Hey, Landon, is that like some spray paint and a bag of coin? Like what?
Yeah. What's the stuff on the right there? Maybe it's a beer.
So this is a fencing mask. I know that. Yeah. But there's like a bag of
something.
I don't know. M&Ms maybe?
Beer can.
Yeah. So when we get the answer from Landon, we'll come back. But until then, let's go ahead and my idea was he was a thief. Oh, okay. Okay. So he's snatching loot. A drunk thief. Yeah.
Very nice.
I like it. With really bad aim because he stabbed his kitty.
Is that some kind of triple bad luck?
Maybe for the cat.
Definitely.
Cool. Well played, everyone. Right. So let's see.
How about you pick? I don't think you've ever picked. It's always been the chat room or the guest or the committee.
Let's see. I'm gonna pick character.
Just character. Leave it wide open. Okay.
Completely open. Now I want to see if anyone else. I'll do action.
Oh, I thought you meant you were going to just do character.
No, I was waiting to see what anyone else wanted to do. I wanted to put a fire and bones, but ran out of time. Yeah, you and me both. That's what yeah, I've been running around doing a bunch of stuff. So how about that? How about adjective, character, and action?
Okay.
How about a clumsy farmer undressing? Magic. I should pick these every week.
Weird.
Okay.
All right.
We good?
Yeah. If you like it, let's go with it. Let's go.
Yeah, I kind of like it. How about you guys in the chat?
The canvas here, and let's get started.
Theme's playing. It's chosen.
I believe every day's a good day when you paint.
Landon says, "Don't change a thing."
Don't change a thing.
A clumsy farmer undressing.
That's it. Let me make sure that I'm not forgetting anything else.
Okay. So I think we're going to do a drawing show this week, guys.
Yeah. I'm also going to, I wanted to talk because there's some really cool things happening in the world of Apple. So it's probably a good thing that Charlie's not here, because he would probably not like that, because he's a Windows dude. But since he decided to not show up, hey, Dave.
Hey, welcome, Dave. We've got a clumsy farmer undressing.
Clumsy farmer undressing.
We're going to do a drawing show today.
So yeah, so an update for iOS and Mac OS came out, and I updated everything. And oh, I keep seeing the chat happening, and I just want to make sure that I'm not missing anything. So there's a few things that are happening with iOS. And I'm sorry, I'm doing many things at once, trying to get this fun prompt announcement out. But one of the things that came out for iOS is this thing called shortcuts. And I don't know if you guys can see. You probably won't be able to. Let's see if I can share my screen.
Ooh, getting all fancy.
You know. Cool. I'm working today. Almost finished a big job. I have time to get in
next week. Well, we'll make sure it is perfect for Dave.
Yeah.
In fact, Dave, you need to pre-tell us which categories you want. Let's see if that happens.
All right. Now that I updated everything, now I have to grant myself access to all these things. Okay. And now it's asking, okay. Come on. Uh-oh. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Uh-oh. I think I ruined something.
No, you're good.
Duh.
You can't hear me.
Okay,
no,
test.
You're good.
I can't hear you guys at all, though.
Uh-oh. Well.
All right, hang on. Be right back.
It's just me now. You got to deal with just me. I'm going to do a little drawing sesh.
Test.
Yep, I can hear you.
I can't hear you at all.
Uh-oh. Carlos done ruined it.
Oh. I'm telling you. I know you can probably hear me, but
yes.
I can't hear you at all. I think I ruined everything.
Uh-oh.
Okay, there. I can hear you, but it's my outside speaker. I'm going to turn these back on, and I'm not going to touch anything at all. Okay, testing.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, there we go. Okay, so what I was going to show you guys is this thing called shortcuts, but I'm not going to be able to because it made the computer freak out. And I'm not even going to be able to show you on the phone, really. But shortcuts, basically it's a list of commands that you can put together to make your phone do certain things. So the one that I have, Carlos Tech Lessons, yeah, exactly. The one that I have is called Police. Well, actually, before I go that far, I can create a shortcut, and whenever I talk to Siri, I can give her a custom command, and then she'll run through this list of things. So kind of like in Photoshop, you have those actions. Imagine that, but for Siri. Does that make sense?
Kind of.
So if you say, hey, Siri, good morning, Siri would then, if you have on your list of commands, turn on the lights to a certain room, play this kind of music.
Yeah.
You can have her do a series of functions that are associated to that command.
Okay.
So if you have things like a smart coffee maker and smart lights and all kinds of stuff, you can make Siri command all those things to do everything when you tell her that one command, right? So
like get ready for the morning, and then she'll do a whole bunch of things.
Yeah. Hey, Joey. Yeah. So there, I have one shortcut in here, and it's called Police. And and you're probably gonna laugh when I say this, but Police, if I got pulled over by the cops and I told Siri, hey Siri, I got pulled over by the police, Siri would then automatically, let's see, the list of, you won't be able to, I hate that.
Let me guess. She starts the audio recording.
So yeah, she pauses music. She sets the phone to do not disturb. She sets the brightness, or she turns the brightness of the phone down. She gets current location. She sends a message to whoever I want the message sent to. And it says, I'm getting pulled over. My current location is blank, latitude blank, longitude blank, right? And then the camera turns on, turns the video quality to high.
Oh, man.
saves the video to the camera roll.
I shouldn't laugh. That's sad.
No, it's hilarious because it's pretty cool that you can do this. It's sad that you have to.
No, it's cool you can do this. It's sad that you are making that for the police getting pulled over.
Yeah. Sets the brightness, it dims the brightness down, and it gets the video that's made. Also emails it to the recipients of your choice. Turns on do not disturb. And then it also takes that video and saves it to iCloud, Dropbox. And it saves the file to Dropbox. And then once it's done, then, it asks you, are you safe now? And then you say yes. And then, and then you go on about your day.
Media. Call off the news media.
Yeah.
Notify ABC.
Yeah. So yeah, and that's one of the things that it's sad that we now find that helpful. But at least you can do it now.
Well, we find the idea of stringing together chores helpful.
Yeah. And I mean, you can do certain things like now that I'm flipping through all of the commands, right? You can say, like, on a on your birthday, I can have Siri automatically send you a text message that says happy birthday.
Well, that's lame. You don't even have to think anymore.
No.
You don't have to be a good friend. You just need to have Siri.
Siri can be the best friend ever. So yeah, there's a bunch of different things that you can do. And then there was another thing that I happened across that I thought was pretty legit. I'm going to flip over to, okay, so I'm going to hide Photoshop. Let me make sure I don't have any weird things showing before I...
That should be one of your Siri functions. Siri, share the screen and it hides your bad windows.
Yeah, right. Oh, here's something. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen now. So I have all of these videos, and you used to, before Mojave came out, you used to have to hit the space bar. You select the video, and then you hit the space bar just to get a preview of it. But now I have, like, this is the window, and you have this little film strip thing happening down here.
Yeah, the photo preview things always were terrible. It's crazy.
Yeah. So now it's
figured that out.
Now, yeah, because I don't really need. I need the big part, the part that I want to see. I want that big. So
it was always like
these icons down here were big AF, and we weren't able to see. Right. So now you get this nice big window. All these icons at the bottom are nice and small. You get all of the information on the right-hand side, and then when I roll over the actual video and I swipe my finger from left to right, I'm able to real quick see what that video is all about. So now I can go through and say, okay, no, that's not the one that I need, or yeah, that's exactly the one I need. Yeah. Oh, and this too. System preferences. I'm going to go ahead and go to desktop screensaver, and I'm going to click dynamic. It was like, if you do dynamic, it's supposed to change the color as the day goes by, but for some reason it's not working. You mean
like the brightness?
The actual, so watch this. So this is the light version of the interface. And that was, well, there you go. It works perfectly. No, it was supposed to.
Oh, Landon's saying we've had these shortcuts for a while on Android.
Then take it easy.
Make it up for Charlie.
I know, right? So this was supposed to change all of the Chrome for everything to dark, and I don't understand why it's not. It was doing it before.
Because you're trying to show it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's opposite of when you have a problem at work with your computer. When the guy comes over, it suddenly works.
Exactly.
Here it's reversed. You're trying to do a show and show it off, and so it doesn't work.
I wonder if it's because there's just a lot of stuff happening. This desktop picture will change throughout the day. Okay, I'll find it. Oh, here we go. There we go. You see there?
Okay, we got the dark version.
Yeah. So you can go light, you can go dark.
Okay. Well, all right then.
All right. I'll have to play with this a little bit more. I do like the dark right now. I'm feeling kind of moody right now.
You need to talk.
Oh, and there was this other thing I wanted to show before I got into Photoshop and started drawing. Check this out. So let's say I'm working on a layout, and hi there. I'm going to come in here. Get out of there. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to change that to, something a little more dramatic. And then I want to center that. But then I need some graphics down here, right? So now I'm going to click on media. And you see down here where it says Carlos Gomez's iPhone?
Nope. We don't get that.
Oh, hang on. Let me see. Oh, you don't. Ain't that a... All right, here. I'll switch it to screen 2. No, screen 3. All right, let's see if it goes now. Yeah, okay. So you see where it says media? I can click the little drop down, and you see where it says Carlos Gomez's iPhone?
Yeah.
I can do take photo. And what it's doing is it just opened up the photo app on my phone.
It's just creepy.
And then
see what that's going to be used for.
I'm going to take a picture and then say use photo. And then bam.
Wow.
Just that fast, it loads up a picture.
That's pretty cool.
No.
It's creepy. I could see that going wrong, but but it's cool. I could see also the extreme uses for it, benefits of it.
So now I don't know what's going to show up. I don't. Oh, it's asking to scan a document. I have a wonderful document right here. Whoa! You guys are going to like this one.
Wait. What's, huh?
I'm doing something on my phone right now.
Okay.
Bam!
It's using the camera?
Yeah. It's scanned. Okay, so I did scan a document, and it actually built a square around this coupon. And it cropped it all off. So that's pretty cool too.
Cropped it AF. That's also pretty cool. I could see that being...
And because I gave to Taco Bell, they're thanking me by giving me a free seasoned beef crunchy taco or a medium.
You was donating to Taco Bell.
They were collecting money for something. I don't know what it was.
You just to order the number 4?
I'm like, here, thanks for ruining my order. No. So there's a lot of really cool things that they're starting to do between desktop and mobile, and now you're able to start using mobile applications or your mobile devices to better the experience in what you call it, delete in on the computer. And I thought that was pretty amazing. Plus I get a free taco. And I've just now started messing around with those too. So I All right. Charlie said, hey, hey.
Hey, hey, hey. We're going to let him know. I'm going to tell you.
All right. Clumsy farmer.
Clumsy farmer undressed. Undressing?
Undressing.
Well, ain't that risque.
I know. I don't even know where to go with this. I'm trying to be
I did some thumbnails first.
I'm trying to be an adult.
You don't need to be. Making it so this poor dude is getting dragged and some pants coming up. He doesn't even know how to ride a horse. Horse legs.
Hey, oh, look who's here.
What's up?
What is up?
Chuck.
I have made it.
Here.
159 episodes and I'm late. it's one. Falling asleep with my daughter, with my 2-year-old. But I'm here. The wife comes in the room. It's like, wait a minute.
That's all right. Carlos broke the sound, so.
Oh, really? So,
yeah.
So the funny thing with that, and I've been watching you guys on the YouTube stream, is that like I brought the Twitch stream with me, and I had a little B-roll right before I came in. I was like, "We're gonna join in right now." I'm gonna need you to go back.
Say anything stupid
and watch the Twitch stream or watch the Twitch recording because I felt like we still need to have it recorded on Twitch. I was like, we're gonna go ahead and jump in this week. It's episode 159. I had my NPR voice on.
Twitch? What's up, Twitch?
How long has Twitch been on?
We've been going for a good 5 minutes now.
Okay. You didn't hear what I said about you. No, I'm just kidding.
Apologize. What's up, YouTube chat? How's everybody doing?
People are doing good.
Okay, what are you guys doing? I just observe.
We just started.
The fun prompt is a clumsy farmer undressing. But since you're here, we might as well hit our topic. It's a good chat one.
Yeah, it's a good chat.
Yeah.
Have it while Carlos sketches. You were doing something crazy I just saw when I first came in. When
crazy.
I was watching. Sending
your
phone or something?
Yeah, the new updates.
Yeah, so I'm gonna share this screen.
Oh God, you're gonna make him do it again.
It'll be fast. It'll be fast.
I'm just kidding.
Sorry, Jack.
I'm gonna open up Pages.
He's like, what's Pages?
Let's say I want to do a history of lighthouses, right?
It's their version of PowerPoint.
Oh, in Photoshop?
No, Mac.
No, this is in Pages, right? Oh. So I don't like this picture. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on it. This might work. I'm going to go up to Media, and then I'm going to drop down to Take Photo. And that opens up my phone. That opens up the camera on my phone.
Okay.
And then I can do. Hold up! I'm going to click on this so you can see real. So you can see real time. You can't see because I'm sharing my screen. But right now, what I'm doing is I'm holding up my phone. I'm about to take a picture. I just hit the shutter, and I'm gonna tap on Use Photo.
A picture of your face.
And look at what just happened, Charlie. Look at what just happened.
Why am I
just showed up on the screen?
How's it?
Communication. Yeah. Bluetooth, bro.
That's kind of cool.
It is cool, but I can also see it being a little dangerous.
How's it doing that?
Well, you know how it's got like AirDrop and stuff where you can send photos directly to another machine. It's kind of that same idea.
Did you do a bunch of setup before this?
No.
No, they're like linking it all like kind of automatically.
Yeah. Like so if you have all of your stuff connected to iCloud, yeah, you just it's all there. I think they're starting to figure out that handoff thing.
Okay.
The AirDrop and stuff.
Yeah, it's been a little messy up until now. Like it sometimes works and
yeah. And the frustrating thing is there's a lot of times I'm trying to move files from one computer to another.
Yeah.
And my laptop doesn't always find my desktop and vice versa. And
I can see that. Okay.
you know, ain't nobody got time for that. Like I got things to do and I'm sitting here, you can't sit, and then I'm gonna end up emailing it myself.
Yes, you better bust out the zip drive.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, so it's getting pretty cool. These all these gadgets and gadgets are kind of
gadgets. That's it.
Are getting
gadgets and gadgets.
Would the photos be 300 DPI with a view to making print book in page? Ooh, see, I like that Joey's here. We're gonna go right back into
with a
pages.
view to making a print book in pages. So you can go to Barnes and Noble, snap photos of books, and then have them pre-ready on your pages.
Let's go.
All right, so I'm gonna just to show you guys.
Let me find it.
I'm gonna click on that guy, but then I'm gonna stop that so you guys can see what happens over here. As you guys see my office. So yeah, so I'm gonna turn my phone on or unlock it. Oh look, I can show you guys this too. I'll show the I might be able to show the shortcuts now that I'm moving the camera around. Possibly. Yeah, probably be able to see.
Charlie would appreciate your call the police or pulled over by the police.
Yeah, that's I was going to use that to transition into the next conversation.
Uh-oh.
All right, so then like I click here, I selected the picture, I go up to media, drop down to take photo, and then look at it opens up the photo app automatically.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I'm going to take a picture of
open?
Huh?
Was your photo app open?
No, it opens it automatically. So now I'm going to take a picture, and you see that that's the picture. Now I'm going to tap on use photo, and let's time that. Can we see both? Yeah, watch this. Use photo. Bam!
That's pretty quick.
That's super quick.
That is pretty quick.
That's what you can do with your phone. Imagine what Apple's doing with your phone.
Yo, I don't. there's no kind of like, you know, it didn't say in the beginning like, do you want to be able to use this phone? Like,
there's gotta be.
Does he have permission set up already? Like
I said, if you have everything set up, if you have your iCloud set up.
Mm-hmm.
You basically add all the devices that you want to access through iCloud. So then that media tab, because if you look,
Dang, Joey Wall getting on Charlie.
Get an art Instagram.
You don't like my Instagram, Joey? I posted a mean omelet yesterday. It was awesome.
Yeah, you did.
Don't be jealous.
So if you look here, if I click on the little drop down for media, it says take photo with Carlos's iPhone or Carlos's iPad.
Yeah, you have it all set. That's cool.
Yeah. So all of that they're finally getting it together with this whole iCloud thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of clunky for a minute, but They're getting better at it. Oh, and that's right. I was going to do this. All right. So if we look, and I think it's backwards, but so there's this new thing. So Charlie, I just updated my iOS and Mac OS.
Okay. Oh.
And for iOS, there's this thing, shortcuts now, that if I tap.
Shortcuts, huh? Okay.
So basically, I can create different things that if I ask Siri to do something, she will she'll go through all of the functions that are triggered by this one command. Right? So I can go into this untitled shortcut, and we can do things like add a calendar event, new reminder, la la la, email addresses, blah blah blah. You can use the maps functionality. So for example, if like I was telling Jack, if I wanted Siri to do something, and if I say, hey Siri, good morning, I can have her turn on lights if my lights are connected to Siri. She can turn on lights, she can play music, she can check the weather, check traffic and all that stuff. And do other things too, right? So I found out about this one particular one. I don't know how to. Okay, that's why. There we go. So I want you to go away. Okay, so there's this one called Police. So if we go into Police,
I don't like where this is going. Yo, what are you doing? Don't be just hitting the button. That's like a bat signal right now.
No, it's a custom one he made.
Oh,
it's a custom one that
someone made.
Hey Siri, stop Police.
Okay, sweetheart.
Oh.
Yeah, girl. Yeah, girl.
Okay, sweetheart.
Yeah. Why is Siri? Okay. Only you would have.
That's her response.
So I have her call me sweetheart. So you see what's happening is
it's freaky.
Don't press that if you black.
Yo, see Joey.
Hang on.
All right, so
then
you
better press it if you're black. Watch what happens.
Yeah.
So then you see what's happening, and then I click stop, use video, and then it runs through all of the commands. So yeah, so you can send text messages, you can do all kinds of stuff.
Wait,
right?
You didn't explain.
What's your police thing do?
You didn't really explain.
That's why I wanted to go into it better so I can show. So what happens is all of the commands, this is the list of the commands that happen. It'll pause the music that's playing. It sets your phone to do not disturb. It sets the brightness down. It gets your current location and it sends your whoever you want your location, and it sends it as a text, and it says, I'm getting pulled over. My current location is blank, right? So it gives them all the details to the location.
That's scary. It's crazy.
And then it starts your camera, and it gets you ready to record a video.
Did you make this one yourself?
No, I found this one and I downloaded it. So then it's you can start recording, and then it'll save it to your photo album, and then it'll take Facebook. And then it'll take I think you can
start Facebook Live video.
Think you can.
Yo, the police button. Yo.
And then it'll take that video. It sets the brightness of your phone to 50%, and then it takes the video and it emails it to people that you list.
Mm-hmm.
And then it, like when you're done, when it's done, it turns your phone, it turns do not disturb back off. And then it takes the video and it posts it to iCloud and Dropbox. And then you give, and then at the end of it, it ends, and there you go.
Wow.
And then it plays NWA's.
Yeah. So you can, and apparently there's a gallery. So let's see what else is here. Shortcuts for sharing. Wonderful widget, heading to work. Okay, so yeah, you can tell Siri that you're heading to work, and she'll get your ETA, your calendar events, and a playlist for your commute.
Okay, girl.
I'd be like, hey Siri, it's time for Sketch Zone. She'll be like, ooh, yeah, sweetheart.
Siri is creepy.
Yeah, she is. She's a stalker. Oh, you can tell Siri, say cheese, and she'll take a picture. Yeah, so there's a bunch of really cool things in here that you can do.
Dave says he's got 99 problems, but shortcuts ain't one.
Yeah. Guitar, chord finder, download files, blah, blah, blah. So there's just a bunch of stuff that's happening that you can now do. And that police one, I thought at first I was like, well, that police one is a little too aggro, but then you continue to hear stories about people not quite making it home all the way because a cop decided to be the judge, jury, and executioner. And I was like, yep, I'll actually take that one. Because
you gotta see if we can do the Facebook Live thing, you just
I wonder.
Or you just need to test it on a different one besides that and just be like, let's see if this works.
I think it has to be a command that Siri can already accomplish. So, unless Facebook is integrated into Siri, probably not.
Or is it?
You can post on Facebook.
See, I don't. Mm-mm.
Yeah, right. It's a different vibe.
That's like a new level of butt dialing. Like, I don't need.
Could you imagine?
I don't need to be talking to somebody about Facebook, and then it gets the idea to post everything I just said. But
Jack's like, nope.
Not that I talk that much trash that I don't want other people to hear, but. Or do I?
Or do I? I was just talking. Facebook has been been lit today. As I'm seeing,
today was lit.
Yeah, I've had my head in the sand today because of work, and I had a bunch of stuff today. It's been a long day. I had my yearly review today, and another review.
How did it go? Are you reviewed?
So I don't have a job anymore. Just kidding. I do. Everything's fine.
I was like,
I kind of like,
I know you're kidding, but I don't want to be insensitive.
I didn't know you were kidding.
Yeah.
I was like,
yo, Carlos's face is like, yo, that's the face of, yo, did he just, really?
At first I wanted to laugh, but I was like, he might be serious right now.
Turn this off right now.
I'm like, how are you laughing?
like I'm moving. Yeah, that'd be epic if I just spawned that on you guys. Yeah, I don't have no more
in that format, in a joke,
in a joke, and then all of a sudden it's like, yo, I'm moving. No, it went great. Everything went good today. Yeah. My the owner of the company actually sat in on it too. I was like, ooh, this is gonna be different. So that was good too. So I it was nice to have him in there too. So it was cool. Everything went good. Yeah. But it's just been really busy with some other projects lately. So, but it's all good. The review thing always creeps up on me, because I'm constantly doing everybody else's all year.
I was gonna say you have to do reviews too, right?
Yeah. So I reviewed my most senior level artist. She's a designer there, and her review was today too. So I prepared for that and did that one first with her, the owner, and then the studio manager. And we did that, and that was a big long review. And then all of a sudden, like, we literally just like, yo, my studio manager, she was like, can we just break for like 5 minutes? And then it was mine. It was my turn. So and then we went for another hour for that. So it went good. Went good.
So
Joey just called me out on the gram. Really?
The Instagram feed is going to be more than ramen. Oh God,
got to be more than ramen. I mean, we might have a show title.
Hey, yo, but you know, Joy, it's kind of a cool feed with all that food, though. I'm just kind of the real life. I don't know. I got really excited about the omelet. I don't know why. And my wife saw the video that I made because I actually hit the button, send to Facebook. I just did it without.
You told Siri, you said I'm making an omelet, and she sent it to Facebook.
Yes, right. And then my wife Monica was like, "Are you singing in this video?" I was like, maybe I'm singing. I don't know. I was just really excited about my perfect omelet I was making, so I did a quick video, and she was just like shook her head and walked away. Like she was like, You're weird.
Yeah.
Like didn't even get a good response of like, yo, didn't it look cool though? She was just like, what are you saying in the video? Like, when your close family just starts to question what you're doing, you're like, what are you doing in the video? I'm like, well, I think I sang a little bit at the end of it. And then you're thinking, then when you say it out loud, you're like, oh.
What was this like happy omelet song?
I don't remember what I said. I was just like gonna show like the underneath of the underside of the omelet, and I was like, "Oh my god, it's a perfect omelet," or something like that.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't know. Go back and watch my video on Instagram. I don't know what I actually say. Whatever that person says, he's amazing. I'm gonna ride with him that way. But it was
that person.
Yeah, I talked about myself in the third person a little bit. Cool.
Okay.
No, but then earlier tonight we were talking about the whole thing with the deposition or whatever, which I don't know anything about as much. My Monica filled me in on that. I was like, oh, that's kind of crazy. And then as I'm jumping on Facebook to jump on with you guys, I see a little glimpse of all the different threads, the epic threads. So your name come up, Jack, in a thread. I was like, wait a minute, what is? This must really have been a big thing all day.
It was a hot mess. That was a hot mess. Yeah, to get me to actually comment on Facebook.
Because I was like, Jack is commenting on... Is that what we were just talking about?
I don't know if to do that. I was just telling Carlos about it before the show. I was like...
I told Monica it was just interesting. I was like, but this is not a... Because after she told me, I'm like, really? That's what everybody's watching all day?
Yeah. Dude, and that lasted all day long. So that we don't need to be cryptic for the viewers who have no clue what we're talking about. Mm-hmm. It's the Judge Kavanaugh hearing that was like 8 hours long today.
Yeah.
So if you don't live in America,
lucky you
don't really care what happens to us crybabies. What's happening is there's a guy, Judge Kavanaugh. He was obviously a judge. That's why it's in his name.
That's why his name's Judge.
There's an opening for the U.S. Supreme Court, and this guy was nominated by our wonderful president to take the open spot. And the importance of it is, once you get this job, you have it for life until you give it up, but you have it for life. So basically you're able to, you're the top level of the
highest judge that a judge can be.
Yeah. So basically the way you interpret laws helps mold where we go as a country. So that's why it's important. That's why it's important.
All the laws.
All the laws.
All of y'all's laws.
You affect everything. How you think.
It's everything, and it's everything
law becomes law.
and it's everything from like one of the hot topics is abortion rights. Another one is legalized marijuana, and it's just like everything. So if there's judges, there's just like normal judges, you can always escalate over them. So you have the local judges, and then you have like the state Supreme Court judges, and then you have like another layer on top of that.
It's like district, because it's been broken up into districts.
Joey said the judge.
Basically, each time you appeal an outcome, it goes up another level. And then
So this is the top level.
Yeah, this is the highest judge of judges.
These guys say this is the judge how it is. Now we'll live with it.
I'm the judge or not.
And the thing with this guy is he's been accused of inappropriate sexual
allegedly
behavior. Exactly. But
but that don't matter now.
He's been accused of inappropriate sexual behavior.
You know where Charlie stands.
And so
that doesn't matter now. I mean, like it's like airing out your dirty laundry during the interview. During your review. It's like, it's everything for him. That's messed up.
Right. Could you imagine?
That's where we're at. That's what I'm talking to my wife about. It's like
could you imagine going into any job interview at all, and literally everything you do is under investigation or under scrutiny?
It's crazy because I was telling Monica that too, because she was like telling me hers. I was like, so this is not a criminal thing.
Nope.
And now he's proverbially like messed up. Like, I don't know how you recover from this. You may still, I don't even know if
you don't. Still get, I mean,
you don't, right? It's like all from hearsay. You know,
I mean,
could happen. This isn't.
But this isn't unprecedented. Right? This isn't unprecedented, though. I mean, the whole same thing happened with Clarence Thomas, and he's on the bench.
Yeah, Clarence Thomas slid through all that. I don't know how he circumvented all that one, but he's still there. Yeah.
Well, it was a different time back then. That's why.
That whole due process and the whole like, it's not just like it wasn't just hearsay. It's like, this one's weird. I don't know how they can just do this. Because it was when he was 17.
Because look, the whole thing is that, like Carlos said, it's a job for life, and this is the guy that's going to be making all these major decisions about American policy and American citizen rights, and so they want to fully vet this guy and make sure that he's fit to serve. And so when a complaint comes against them, they need to fully vet it. And unfortunately, in this case, there's no proof. It's total hearsay. However, what it does help them do and does expose is his demeanor and his, him as a kid. Like, even if they can't prove whether or not he did this act, they can still learn a lot about him as a person, which. He did a lot of stuff today that I think was probably
I think he
wouldn't have come off, wouldn't have happened had there been no accusation.
Yeah, for sure, I get that too, because Monica was telling me how he was kind of getting heated. He said he started off great. His opening statement for like 45 minutes was sound, and then it started. She said then it started breaking apart.
Yeah,
and she started asking the interviewer questions. Like, well, but then some of the questions were like ridiculous. Like that you would ask. That like I just vision like a high schooler asking grilling a student in a classroom or something in the back of the class. Do you swear to God that you never ever did that? I was like, that was one of the questions. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Okay, we have to do some vetting with these people ask questions, because I've heard these before on some other depositions. They're like crazy worded questions of like that we would word.
Well, because they're all politicians, and at the end of the day, they're all just trying to get him caught, and they just want a gotcha soundbite. They want to be like, haha, look what I did. I caught him. or caught her, whatever it may be, whatever their motivation is. It's all just a game to them, which is the sad part, because
that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
It's just an awful situation, and there is absolutely no good outcome, because if they elect this guy, he's going on the bench, and there's going to be all this, there's going to be all this doubt that, oh man, he's a sexual abuser, he's done this and that, and it was all a political game, and this woman's life, blah blah blah. So you have this guy that potentially did this thing, and then if they don't elect him and they believe her, then you've set precedent that you can take someone down without any proof.
It's just that whole movement is like even stronger of like just coming out the woodwork. Well, not based on proof, it's based on how they feel, and then if they can prove it later.
But at the same time, like, you really have to take a look at if someone isn't, like, if this dude was just bagging groceries at the grocery store, it probably wouldn't.
The job mattered.
It wouldn't really come out. But this guy is taking such an important position
that lasts for life. Like it's not like he's just.
I don't care. I don't even care that it lasts for life. Like even if there was term limits on this, or that's why vetting people who come in to be the president is an important thing to do. That's why you have to vet people, because they're in charge of the future of this country, and you need to be very careful. If he was just some normal Joe out there just doing whatever, I mean,
I had no problem with
do what you
process.
do.
It's just the way this part has come up with it. I have no problem with them having to do the whole long interview based on to make sure he's good.
Yeah,
it's just this particular scandal is how it's happened a lot in America this lately. Now sometimes it comes out to being true for sure, right? You have the Cosby case, you have the Weinstein, stuff like that, for sure, or whatever. They get whatever they get, but when it just the way it comes up, that I felt like back in the day it used to be harder to make an accusation and then they get to the point where they it has to be investigated than it is now in the way social media and everything.
Yeah, we're in a social media phase and the media frenzy. I mean,
which I always think of the people that want to use it for their advantage.
Right?
Because even if it comes out that this didn't happen, whatever, it's just tainted. That part of the thing is tainted now.
Because for an example on that, the guy who hosts Talking Dead, Chris, whatever his name is.
Okay.
One of his ex-girlfriends accused him of I guess emotional abuse or something like that.
That's like a bad breakup sound like.
Yeah, and so he was working for like AMC, and I think he was like hosting like America's Got Talent or something like that. So he's married now, like his life is legit. And then she came out of the woodwork and accused him of this stuff. And Chris Hardwick, thanks, Landon.
Thanks, Landon.
And then she came out and she accused him of this stuff, and they did an investigation. She didn't want to be a part of the investigation.
Weird.
Long story short, he showed on like social media how she was in the hospital and she was commenting how wonderful he is and all this other stuff, right? So you have those cases that they're in it for the notoriety, they're in it for the spotlight, they're in it
slander,
for the financial gain, there's some people who aren't happy until everyone is miserable.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you have to investigate. Mm-hmm. There you do have some of those folks. You have some copycat killers and you have all that stuff. But that's why you have to investigate this stuff.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, if under current climate, if you're accused of this, you're guilty until proven innocent.
Right.
And so Chris Hardwick got pulled off of his shows and everything.
Oh wow. See,
and even after he was found innocent, he was on TV and people were on Twitter talking about, why is Chris Hardwick on my TV? Blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
Like this dude, I don't know him personally, but people who do know him and people who talk about him all speak very highly of him. But he lost all his jobs for a hot second. And then even when he came back and he was proven innocent, people were still upset. And he didn't do anything. Right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's just
so there's folks out there that do that. But the responsibility to find out exactly what happened that's why it's important. That's why you have to investigate things that are happening, especially to a Supreme Court judge. Because Chris Hardwick, he can share his opinion and nothing happens. But this knucklehead, whatever his Kavanaugh or whatever, his opinion changes the way we live life on the daily. So if he thinks that it's okay to walk around and touch girls all kinds of crazy, we need to know if that's his mentality. And I understand that this one specific one happened when they were 17. But you have to take a look at, is there a line is there behavior that continues to happen with this guy? That's what you're investigating. Like, do you think, as a judge, do you think that women have less of a voice than you? Those are the things that you have to find out from this guy.
Yeah.
And same thing, like, how do you feel about black people? Like, those are the things that we have to, because if you don't hold these people's feet to the fire, we lose the momentum as women, as minorities, as people that are fighting to be treated the same. If you continue to let these jokers slip through, we have people who were just a few years ago, they were not given jobs because they were considered too racist for the job. So as a Supreme Court judge, I need to know, are you a racist? Are you a sexist? Or at the same time, do you slant the other way? Because a judge, you need to be down the middle. You need to be able to cut through the bullshit. And that's why it's important to find out what this dude is doing. Whenever you have rules in the Constitution that say all men are created equal. Oh, hold up. Black people too. Oh yeah, hold up. Women too. Like, you know what I mean? You have to get people who actually get where we are in today's society. And those are the folks. Oh yeah. And like Joey Wall says, I swear to God that you're not.
It's so sad. And she told me, I'm like, yo, that's the question. Yo, pinky swear to God.
Are you racist? Do you swear to God you're not a racist?
Yo, I want to know who asked that question. That person's still connected to the block.
They need to figure out what's up with
God. You didn't do that. Right now, you believe in God. Right now, right.
And you're. If you're asking someone, do you swear to God that you didn't do this, and then they don't believe in God? Now, what do you do? Now, what do you do? But while we're here,
yeah.
So Dave Atsey, a couple weeks ago, sent a message. I swear on your mother's grave. Oof, that was a deep one. Dave Atsey sent out some links to some stuff that's happening in Australia. And it's funny because Australians are having to deal with this type of stuff too. And we're so deep in it that I mean...
Yeah. I'm glad to know we're not the only circus.
I think we said this last week, like Australia's frustrations or their whatever, I forget what words I used, but basically they're struggling, so their struggles make us happy because because misery loves company. Right. So a couple weeks ago, Serena Williams was in a tennis match.
Yeah, she was.
And she ended up losing to whatever the young lady's name is. I don't remember, but the young lady was excited that she was able to play tennis against Serena, and she felt accomplished because she beat the best. And to be the best, you have to beat the best. Well, the official of the tennis match, and even the crowd that was there, it was more about Serena and Serena not winning. And so it wasn't even that. They didn't, to me, they focused on the wrong thing. Serena's fantastic, but this young lady came and they won, and she won, but instead of making it about her winning, they made it about Serena losing. And even during the match, apparently Serena threw a bit of a tantrum. I didn't watch it, so, and I'm assuming this is what happened because of everything that I read, but she threw a sort of a tantrum. And then I saw a video of where she told the judge, apologize to me. And the judge said, it's not my job to apologize. She said, well, then stop talking to me then. So, and she apparently threw some sort of a tantrum, whatever. And I believe it was an Aussie illustrator that does the political comics.
Okay.
The Aussie guy drew Serena in a particular way. She was throwing a tantrum. She slammed her racket down, and just the way that he drew her, and they took this picture, they published it, and the way that he drew her got a lot of people in an uproar. They felt that it was racist, and it should have never gotten out, and all this good stuff. Did you guys end up seeing the Serena picture?
Yeah. Just pull it up.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to. I'm gonna try to see if I can't.
Got it.
Real quick. Talk amongst yourselves.
I've got it.
Yo, Jack, I love what you're doing right now with the prompt.
Okay, so here we go.
I think I like his face the most, is his expression. Yeah.
All right, so here we go. This is the picture that was topic of conversation. And in the picture, in the background, there's the young lady that won, and the judge is asking her, can you just let her win? So
yeah.
So This is a really good topic of conversation because I bump into this topic a lot.
Yeah.
I also host Midway Radio, midwayradio.com, where we talk to a lot of Chicago-based hip-hop folks, whether they're graffiti artists or rappers or beat makers, whatever. And I always have to be careful because I don't, and this is me. I just don't like to make people too white, too pale, too dark, too whatever. I try to get them
You stay in the middle here.
Because in cartoons and illustration, if you make someone too dark or too light, they just look fake.
Mm-hmm.
And it has nothing to do with anything except with just visual
appeal.
Yeah, I almost said visual pleasure, but that was going to sound dirty.
Yeah. Where are we going?
So I mean, we know some folks that are so white that they're blue, and we know some folks that are so black that they're black as hell. You've seen them. There's some folks that are so white you can see the blood racing through their veins.
You said they're blue.
I'm going to agree to this. There's some we know of some. We know of someone specific who's so white they're blue, and I've seen some folks that are so black they're purple.
Yeah.
So it just happens, man. Skin is like a huge range.
Yeah, for sure.
Doesn't mean you need to draw it that way.
Yeah, don't mean you need to point it out. Thank you, Jack. Thank you. That's a great segue. Doesn't mean you need to draw it that way. Chill, dude. He went too far on the caricature. It's almost like and like I said, I've not been a 2D guy, but more so even in college buddies and other buddies I've known growing up who have had the affinity to draw characters really well. You know, up here in Illinois for you guys, it would be working at like a Six Flags or something like that. In Indiana, we're closer to the better amusement parks of the Ohio nature, which is like Cedar Point or Kings Island. Shout out to those two. So I've had friends. You like what I did there? So I've had friends that would talk about, you know, as they're
telling me shouting out people.
Yeah, I'd be trying to. Six Flags is a horrible theme park, in terms of like rides, but in terms of I've heard artists who get summer jobs as like character artists, or in college that's what their main like bread and butters were during the summers at like Six Flags. And there's a whole like, and I feel like, you know, for the guys that are listening, if you go back to our early shows,
we had a couple of characters.
We had a couple of different people talk about this, like their summers, or their summers working in Disney, or their summers working at like a amusement park, and what that culture's like when you're drawing people all day, you know, and like how it can go awry and people not like how you do the characters of them. So I think it's a little bit of that. And Carlos just touched on it a little bit also when he was talking about it, is that if he's doing, because Carlos does a lot of characters too of guests he have on the show for Midway Radio. And it's a fine line between like, oh, thanks, you drew me, that looks awesome. And like, hey, why you draw me like that? You know, jerk.
Right.
You know, like, right. You know, and that's what I think. This is one of those instances of like, you know, not really heeding. But I guess as an artist, you know, if you go with the notion of like, yo, this is the character I drew, and I'm standing by it, and it's there to provoke a conversation on what happened. You know, that's right. Cool, but yeah. I think we missed it. If you take out the editorial side of it, just wasn't finessed the best. So thus it comes off way harsher. And in our age of like Googling how this offends me, that's exactly what happened. Because people don't like how he drew Serena's face. I think she looks a little bit too round, and she needs to be more Amazonish. Maybe if the top half of her was out of the frame, to exaggerate the fact that she's very athletic or something, I would have went a different way instead of it feeling like she's a big huge balloon. But
we have to remember she's legit. She's legit. She just had a baby not too long ago.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I would have probably drew her like you just see the legs or something. I don't know. Because like the way she drew her, it felt very, to me, but the artist didn't know anything about this allegedly in terms of like black exploitation, like type of like illustrations and stuff like that.
See, I gotta call total shenanigans.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Where like people are going to Google how they're offended and figure out.
I get that the artist was in Australia and isn't privy to all of America's trials and tribulations, but they got their own set of racist issues.
Yeah, with
some pretty major ones, I might add. And on top of that, if you're an artist and you're doing any kind of research or you've been trained in any kind of way, you've been exposed to this to a certain degree.
Yeah. I'm willing to bet if I did a Google search on Serena, if I'm looking for reference in terms of how to draw her, you're gonna come up with all type of like.
And look, aside from the fact of whether or not you think the drawing is racist or had any racial intent, the whole fact of the matter here is as an artist, particularly one that's doing editorial pieces and commentary.
Mm-hmm.
Everything about your drawing is going to be scrutinized because that is what you are
doing, right?
The thing you're trying to do is to make a point. So if the point is about her being a baby, then draw her as a baby. Don't draw her as a fat, black, like overly Aunt Jemima woman.
Yeah.
What it is, does her race have anything to do with the point you're trying to make? If not, then why are you drawing it that way?
Yeah, and exactly, and to that point too, Jack. Like, if you're drawing her based off of exaggerating her features as a caricature of her, then you failed on that aspect also, because that's not saying that he has to draw her accurate, but like it doesn't seem like that fits the things you would exaggerate. I would think you would exaggerate her even more that she's muscle bound or something like that, or taller than the average one. But like, yeah, so if you didn't do that, then it sounds like you're doing it because of other reasons, or what you drawing her that way because of other reasons, which I think that's why people think he drew her that way on purpose, because it doesn't make a difference. It doesn't make any sense. Why else would you do that based on the point you just make?
But at the same time, look at this cover. Look at this cover here.
Mm-hmm.
Look at Trump, look at Kim Jong-un. Like,
yeah, I mean that's just what they do.
Yeah. So like if you think
there's the other side of this
this is definitely I don't know the guy, and I think we need to know the guy.
For sure.
Probably, yeah.
Because
what's his name?
Let me tell you.
Maybe we can look through his art.
My tune in today's sun is on Sunday. So it might be Mark Knight, because apparently there's this Mark Knight guy who's taking credit for it. But so I've drawn people from Midway Radio, and I've been I know for a fact that I've been a little too sensitive when it comes to trying to not make them so dark. And then when I give them the drawing the very next day, they're like, I'm blacker than that. And I'm like, well, I was trying to be. He's like, draw what you see, son. Draw what you see. I'm like, I just don't want people to be like what's happening here. I don't want people to look at me and be like, this mug is racist. Mm-hmm. Because then I don't like to bring up the fact that not that I don't like it. I don't like that I have to bring up the fact that I have a black sister. I have a white daughter. My great friends are black and white and Indian. Like, none of this stuff, I don't care. But I don't want to have to continuously have to defend my decisions on, oh, you didn't make me black enough. You didn't make me white enough. Oh, they didn't, you did, he's got bigger lips than that. Like, and these are discussions that happen a lot.
Yeah, I have it pulled up. I'm trying to some of his different work. This is him.
Yeah.
It just seems like at times, if these are different people, and I don't know all the ones, and maybe, I don't know if Dave's familiar with them. If there's actual people that are supposed to be like, it seems like the characters are more spot on.
See, but go back a couple. One more. There's a white dude with some big ass lips. This dude's lips looks like.
I'm sure that he looks similar to this or something like that. Like he was trying to exaggerate something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's the other side of this is like when is censoring what artists do going too far and being overly sensitive. I mean, in some ways, it's particularly political cartoonists are very much like comedians, and they're there to poke holes things and push the boundaries and kind of make points with exaggerations. So it's kind of like, what is it racist purely because it has some exaggerated features, or is it racist because it's somehow degrading to her and her race and it's making a comment on that? Like,
yes, yeah, like your comment's totally different than what you were trying to say in terms of like the act, of what happened.
And that's the challenge. Like, the challenge is
maybe he just failed on that instant on that, right? Maybe he failed for that drawing.
Probably, yeah. Yeah. So look at this here. Look at this picture here.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very similar concept.
Right. So and again, she's coming back from having a baby, and
it's like, speaking to that too.
And I think it's safe to say that she might be a little bit bigger now than she has been, only because she probably has some baby weight. I'm not trying to say anything bad. We're just looking at the facts. Looking at the facts.
Mm-hmm.
But I think when you get to this point here, like, I don't know.
Not as big as that. But yeah, if you look,
I don't know.
You do the Serena, just do the Serena search then at that point of like what she looks like right now. It don't.
And I'm sure he did, because
of course he worked for
he knew what she was wearing, because look at the outfit.
Yeah, for sure. It just
you just don't pull this out of nowhere. Like, this is dead on. So he knew what she was wearing, what she was doing. It
just doesn't. Yeah, I just don't see her.
It doesn't. I mean, it doesn't actually strike me as specifically racist. There's nothing. He's not making a negative commentary about folks with dark skin. It's just he chose something that has been used in the past to do that.
Yeah.
He probably could have depicted her many other ways.
But to Carla's point, he may be mentioning how she's bigger than normal.
Well, that's a very different argument. I mean, if
it's a new one to come up too, right? Yeah. Because now that's what I'm thinking. Now I don't even care about the face anymore.
Like they're like fat shaming her or something.
Yeah, because I don't think her features are that big. In terms of like that, that's what I would call out if I was looking at you know, say a picture like that, I think that he missed the mark in terms of like.
I mean, she's
she has
stunning.
bigger
I mean,
lips.
she has large features, but she also
maybe the nose or something,
gorgeous.
whatever. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't call that out, but at the same time, now, if we talk about how a critical an eye artist has,
yeah,
in the way, and if I'm really looking at the image now, in the way, we know political cartoonists pull out certain features. It might be that in his research, he's like, oh yeah, she just came back. She's a little rounder than what she used to be. You know, I'm gonna draw her like this, and like, I mean, the face just takes away from that. But like, because why else would you draw her so large? Which
unless he's literally trying to say she was being a big fat baby, you know, like it could be something as simple as that he's just trying to
which that would tie in everything. You know,
and
like
again,
the extra weight, the tantrum, which could be.
And again, this is why you have to look at someone's past and their behavior in the past, because if this guy had a history of pushing the racist envelope or being a racist or being racially intolerant, whatever the case may be, then you can be like, yeah, he's being a jerk.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's just some dude like, and he's got a black girlfriend and kind of like Bill Maher.
Yeah.
Bill Maher has a black girlfriend. Hang on.
That's yeah.
Hang on.
Let me get there. Let me finish it.
Yeah.
Keep going.
He dropped an N-bomb. He felt comfortable dropping an N-bomb on his TV show. That's too far.
Yeah,
I don't care. I don't care how many. I don't care how many. I don't care how many black women you've slept with.
And he didn't just drop it. He used a very specific. Oh man, that was a disaster. I don't know what he was.
So
thinking.
I don't care how comfortable you feel. As a matter of fact, the more black people in your life you have, you should use that word even less because of the respect that you should have for them and what that word has meant in the past. So you should further know that you shouldn't use that word, especially all nonchalantly and dropping it like he did.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, if this guy, whatever his name was, I forgot, Mark
Knight, or whatever his name is.
Mark Knight, yeah. If Mark Knight had a history of this type of behavior, now we can actually look at him, and now we can start calling for heads on a platter. Now we can call for him losing his job because he's just being an ass.
Mm-hmm.
He's just being a racist ass.
Mm-hmm.
So Dave's question is does the onus lie with the viewer, or at least that's what maybe he's implying, because he's saying at what point does the stereotype become racist? Often as illustrators we use stereotypes in our drawings. If there truly was no ill intent from the illustrator, who does the racism lie with?
Right. I mean, because look at Serena. Serena has, and I'm saying this in with all the respect, and I like girls with big lips. She's got some big luscious lips.
Mm-hmm.
So that, and this is a discussion that I was having with one of my other art friends. I was like, so I was showing a caricature that I was doing, and they're like, no. You can't draw that girl like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, but that's what she looks like. Oh, no. You can't draw that girl like that because that's, she's not going to like it. And I'm like, well,
hang on. You don't need to be cryptic. You're not naming names. Like, what was it up with? Like, did you draw too big? Too
like, okay. So there's
maybe you do need to be cryptic.
No, I kind of I kind of do because I don't know who listens. I don't know who listens to this show all the time, but there's been I do caricatures quite often actually, and if you don't draw girls. If you don't draw girls in a more flattering way, then they're not going to like it. But there's sometimes that people just aren't that attractive, and I'm not trying to be mean. I'm really not. I'm just I guess I'm sharing some frustration. Like I do my best. I do my best to do an accurate cartoon of a person, and the material that I'm handed isn't always
Yo, where we go? Where we going?
I'm trying not to be a jerk in a situation where it can very easily come off as me being a jerk, right? So I try to if someone is too thin, if someone is too fat, if someone's head is too big for their face, there's just a lot of variables that come into being who we are.
Yeah, that's what makes caricatures fun.
My face is boring AF to try to draw. And that's just how it is.
Yeah, no, we can find something.
But the thing is, like, so I was doing a Midway Radio drawing, and what I do is I draw during the show, and at the end of the show, I show, hey, here's a cartoon, right? So this guy goes, ew, that don't even look like me. And literally everyone else on the show is like, bullshit, that looks exactly like you.
That's, yeah.
And then there was another one. He's like, man, you make me look like my crazy uncle. And I was like, well, you look exactly like your crazy uncle. Right. So then that's the discussion that I was having. Like, as a cartoonist and you're doing caricatures of people, and you go to deliver something that they might not like, but you have to stretch reality to make it appealing, right? But what happens when you push the appeal so much that it doesn't even look like them anymore?
Right.
That's the point that I've been messing with for the past 45 minutes. It feels like when you're pushing the cartoon so much that it doesn't even look like them anymore. Now your name is out there as a guy who can't draw people the way that they look like, or make a cartoon of them the way that they look like.
Yeah.
And that's the dilemma. Like, how, and kind of like what Dave said earlier, at what point does your style, or what point does do stereotypes become racist, right? Like, if I have someone with some big ass lips, you kind of have to put some big ass lips, because if you put it out there and they don't look anything like the person that you're supposed to be drawing, people aren't going to come to you anymore, because you're just doing whatever the hell you want. That's not what I look like.
You just out here wilding out on the page.
Right. Oh, you just gonna take creative license all over my body. Okay, I see you. Right.
Yeah. You just doing whatever the hell you want. There's so many sound bites. He's out here drawing willy-nilly.
Oh, you just gonna do whatever you want.
Oh, you think you're an artist?
And then there's times where I drew this one girl, and I was like, oh, she's gonna hate this. Oh my God. And then I showed it to her. She goes, oh my goodness, you got me wanting to make love to myself. I was like, okay. I'm glad you like it.
Jack's laugh. Yeah, you probably get some awkward responses to those at times. Like you're like, cool, all right.
And there's sometimes, man, I'll do a cartoon. I'm like, oh, I nailed it. And then I show someone, they're like, ooh, no, you can't do that.
Yo.
I'm like, why not? No. You don't want to do that.
Don't do that to yourself.
So yeah, like that's the dilemma, right? Like as artists, people are asking you to draw pictures of them. And then like I legit told one guy on Midway Radio, he goes, ew, I look ugly. And I said, and everyone started laughing. He was like, they're like, dude, he got you. That's dead on. He goes, ew, no, I'm ugly. Or he goes, oh no, I look ugly. And I go, you better talk to your mom about that.
Yo, Carlos.
Ooh,
that's not my fault. Like a dude, I don't care. A dude, I will tell a dude whatever the hell.
Yeah, well, and I do think that this is a particularly, I mean, the Serena one, she's a woman and she's black, so I think it's particularly, you know, in the media right now.
Yeah. But now the question becomes, and I think this is something Dave was trying to get to, and almost it. So I watched D.L. Hughley's Netflix special. And it was one of my favorite D.L. Hughley's. I thought he was losing it, but he came back strong with this one. And he said in there, it's not what people call you, it's what you respond to. Right? So, and I saw your face, Charlie. You were getting ready for a joke, but it wasn't. But no, like,
yeah.
If someone draws this, is this drawing out your own personal racism?
I don't think so.
No?
No, I don't think so. I don't think you have to. I don't think by pointing out that this looks a little offensive, you in turn are the one that's actually the racist. I don't. That's like the reverse thing. Like I'm gonna throw it back on you because you even brought this up. You know.
Right.
Because it could come off as being offensive. You know, you don't have to like you don't have to, you could just be doing it based off of like just all the extra information you have, you know, in your wheelhouse, you know, in terms of experiences and stuff like that. And sometimes people are dead on, you know, just like your other buddies would say like, nah, you don't want to draw it like that. You know, are they the wrong ones, or are they just like have a different eye because you've been staring at it so long, especially with artists. You know, we look at our drawings differently than everyone else's, and that's what we've been talking about for the last couple minutes in terms of people's responses to good and bad to what the art looks like. So if that's the emotion that it invokes, even if you didn't do it on purpose, I don't think the person who calls it out is inherently racist. And if there's more than one people that are saying that, you know, sometimes there could be a little bit of something in it. I mean, just like we've done tonight where we've analyzed this and we've come to different conclusions about, you know, broader topics of like, you know, Serena's weight and at the time and based off what the artist could have been doing, you know, we're just pointing out things that he may not have saw or he may have saw, you know, it's kind of hard to say unless he tells you. And now it's kind of like a catch-22 of like, hey, yeah, that's what I was thinking. You know, we don't really know what he was thinking at the time that he made it, but those things are there and we pointed out, you know. So by me and Jack talking about, you know, maybe it's the weight thing. Are we prone to fat shame people? I don't think so. I don't think we would. I don't think I would do that. But it's just, you know, how we analyze the art, you know, and if that's the feeling that it invokes, then, and if you get more than one person that's honestly giving that critique on it, then there might be something in it, you know, there might be definitely in it. It's just like if you do artwork and we're saying like, you know, like Jack's doing the fun prompt, and I say, that shadow looks weird, and then like 4 days later, he happens to show a coworker, and he'd be like, "Oh, that shadow looks weird. Like, it might be something to it,
Right.
So I think this is what happened in the case of like, in the shadow doesn't look weird, Jack.
It does look weird. Hold on. It was better before.
I know you're adjusting it. That's why.
I think it's just too heavy.
Yeah. Okay, maybe it needs to fade off more. I don't know. I think there might be something to it, And with this being said, the world's kind of saying, "Yo, you drew her kind of messed up,"
right?
So there's something to it, whether he was intending it or not. Yeah, there's something to that, I think, but I don't think it makes us to be that. I think that's a knee-jerk reaction you make, when you're in an argument, and you want to switch it off, because I've heard people do that before by pointing out something that's not right.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are those cases where that does happen, where people are trying to make something, either they perceive it as something that it's not, or they're trying. Worst case, they're trying to like make it into a story or a situation. But yeah, I don't think that doesn't seem to be the most common version.
Yeah. Ooh.
But Landon started a good point that made me think of this topic I read about, which is very similar to this. Is that they often get this question of, mainly from white people. They ask, "Why do anime characters look white?" And that's like on this totally in the same vein of thinking.
There is a reason for that,
Go ahead. No. I like to hear your explanation, because I started researching like what people think about it, and that's a really interesting topic.
Yeah, because that's a deep one, based off culture, and based off norms over there. I mean, I was heavily into that in college and stuff like that, and there's a bunch of artists that I still follow today that they're like over there, and I always go back to that culture doing animation and being influenced by Western animation as well, because like in anime, there are some like crazy stereotypical things they do. Like if you ever see how they draw black people in anime, across the board, across the board, it's like worse than the Serena video, the Serena image, and that could directly, and we know it for some of those artists, it was drawn on purpose that way, in terms of like overly exaggeration of the lips and the nose and the size of the people. It's the one thing when I was heavily into it. I just started watching another one recently, which I haven't watched anime in years, but it's a pretty decent one. That it's kind of like, son of a bitch. It's like, come on, where as a black guy, I was always like turned off. I was like, he's racist, like, because it was like it was overly, and that character was always like the butt of the jokes at the time, and it was even how it got animated, it was over exaggerated, and stuff like that. So for sure, I think it harkens back to how they view Western culture and Western animation. A lot of the early animation was like they looked at like Disney and other places, and they always viewed themselves or viewed their animations in that way. So they tried to make them look similar to that, but while still kind of giving it its own style. And I watched a documentary years ago, and I wish I could remember more facts about it, but I know it was like they went over stuff like Akira and a couple of other classics, the Princess Mononokes, and like and all those classic ones, and why they looked that way, and how it was also commentary on like they held how you view women and eyes in high regard, and how, and sometimes the bigger and wider and more beautiful they are was like a indication on the inner beauty of like what they're showing in the piece and the expressiveness they would do. So that's why like they would literally like make the pupils like pulsate, you know, when they're really trying to like express a feeling in anime, and that's why, or the long pauses. So all the beats in the anime that happen in terms of like everybody's super exaggerated, and then they pause for effect, you know, and then they would draw the characters like that. It was almost to the point where they were talking about too, like editorial, the way editorials are drawn, or like comic books are drawn. They would totally change. If you ever watch anime, they would totally change the facial features so much to extend a point, you know, to the point of like it's like a crude drawing for a couple frames, and then it would go back. You know, it was that whole style. Go ahead. Yeah.
But you touched on one of the points that what I found most interesting was sort of the psychology behind like how we understand and how we group identify and recognize features, and that was one of the comments. It's not that they're. I do think there is a large component, like you said, that they're influenced by Western society and they're mimicking a lot of earlier drawings from the earlier eras. But this other major component is really fascinating in that the claim is that, you know, the most simple form of the human face is, you know, like the happy face, right? It's just like a couple of lines, and that the fewer features or the fewer exaggerations you have, the more relatable it is to no matter whoever is drawing it, because they don't view themselves as having exaggerated features, right? Everybody around them has similar features, so why exaggerate anything specific? So it isn't until you get an outsider's perspective where, you know, as a white person, you know, the most racist and common thing is like, oh, they have slanted eyes. And then you see an Asian who draws this character that doesn't have slanted eyes, and you say, why are you making that look white? When the Asian person says, what do you mean? Like, why would it have slanted eyes? Because to them, it's like, those are just normal eyes. Mm-hmm. So there's like this really interesting component of it that, and actually I think maybe Dave or Landon, someone in the chat mentioned this, that one of the interesting things you can do is like see how black artists portray black characters. Mm-hmm. You know, and I think this is the same thing, but it's really bizarre to, you know, kind of see this juxtaposition, like you said, because anime is also notorious for outsider stereotypes. Right. So it's weird to have that psychology applied to like main characters, but then, you know, the outside foreign characters is still kind of relies on these same old stereotypes.
Yeah. And you can see it more now. We definitely know anime is like venturing into their own unique style. But if you talk about the early ones, you know, where they were looking at things like Astro Boy and Space Racer and the Eighth Man or Gigantor, you know, Betty Boop and stuff like that, you can see similarities, but then you can also see how it's evolved. So then if you get into like, you know, the One Pieces and the One Punch Mans and like the, you know, all the newer ones, you know, Attack on Titan, all the other ones, you could definitely see, and they're different per region of that area of the world too, right? So, you know, Korean based ones look totally different than Japanese, which looks totally different than Chinese. You know, like they all draw it a little differently based on the artist, and that's where you get the nuance of the artist. Some are more tight-lipped and some are more just really exaggerated, and some of them too, right? It's like, how easy is it to draw it because you got to draw so many frames, you know, too. Also, they're kind of the simplifying that we talk about in animation that happens also.
Yep. Yeah.
So you have to put that in consideration because Lord knows they drew a lot of frames.
Yeah, I mean that's and to Dave's point, you know, like how we often use stereotypes as illustrators or, you know, simplifications in order to. I mean that's a super valid point. You know, particularly in something like animation where you're drawing it so many times in so many frames, like you want to simplify the characters, but yet at the same time you need a way to distinguish characters from each other. So it's like, if one's got big lips, then one's got big lips. If one's got big ears, then one's got big, you know, it's kind of like, depending on the style and the look of the show and, you know, how much you have to produce, like all that stuff kind of comes into play. And then, you know, to add on these like social commentary issues, it's just like, you know, makes your job sometimes really difficult.
Yeah. And like, And also a little bit, it's also a little bit of culture too, right?
Absolutely.
So the not stereotypical, but more so of like looking. We know if you talk about Tokyo, Japanese culture and stuff like that, Akihabara district, all the different subsets. If you're ever really into that part of the world, like I tend to look at, because I think for me that would be one of the bucket list to go to Tokyo and go to those different districts and like go off the beaten path, Anthony Bourdain style of like, because if you see like the meeting spots they do on like Sundays and stuff like that, where you have a whole subculture that dresses literally like Happy Days, and to now in 2018 now they still do it, and it's not them cosplaying, it's a lifestyle.
That's my buddy. My buddy Vinny lives like that.
Really? And it's similar to the people here. We have it here still, right? We have the people that like more rockabillies and stuff like that.
And
more like that. You still see that even in the like, I know artist friends that are like that too. They're still like that. So, but for them to do it, it's like it goes totally more commitment, a commitment level. And there's a bunch of different subcultures like this. I think Vice did a documentary on this too. So you could start to see that in the anime. So the anime is not going to look the same. You're going to have the stereotypical, like really put together white guy haired, blonde, with, hair grease or whatever in their head. That looks the perfect form because that's the main character. That's the stalwart. That's the star of the show. And then they exaggerate the features or put emphasis on those. So it's really, or you're going to have the women that have the really, really big eyes. Like we said before, it's based off personality. It's based off of like, them showing a side of the character that indicates a lot of emotions. So I think that's a good example of simplification in animation, but as well as staying really close to culture.
Yeah.
And then they've turned it into this whole thing, which is the amazing part of the whole thing. We bag on anime a lot of times, but at the other end of it, the actual like production of it still kind of fascinates me, because I think they take what we did and they go times 10. So I think as I got older through school and anime became less of an influence and more of like individual artists that are in that genre, and then looking for the artists that like stand out, like the Miyazakis and stuff like that, and then focusing on that and getting away from the fanboyism of watching it, because you get tired of it a little bit.
I wanted to
go ahead. No, I was just saying that like you look at the artist rather than and the craft rather than those things after a while, and I found out that they draw a lot. You talk about like a sketchbook, holding a sketchbook. These guys have sketchbooks, thousands of sketchbooks, literally in like behind them. I've seen in their workshops, and it's like, to draw that many, you have to simplify a little bit.
I wanted to expand on the culture thing that you're talking about.
Yeah.
You remember when Drake came out with that music video where he was in the box and he's dancing?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he said that some ghost took over his body or something goofy he was talking about, because everyone was like, look at him, he's dancing like he's gay or whatever the hell it was that people were saying, right? Mm-hmm. And I was looking and I was like, I bet you if you drop some Spanish music on that video, I bet you it makes sense.
Yo, it did.
And someone actually went.
They did do that.
Someone actually went and dropped some bachata and some salsa on there, and it made complete sense. I was like, psh, that's a family party. He's at a family party right now. Like, I don't understand people sometimes. Like, I understand that I don't do things the way you do things, but just because I do things my way doesn't mean that you have the right to get triggered. Right?
Yeah.
Like where I come from, you walk in a house, everyone gets a hug and a kiss, and everyone. And when you leave, it's the same thing. Everyone who's there, hugs, kisses. All right, see you later. Bye. boom, you're gone. It's an insult. It's I can't say it's an insult, but it's damn near an insult for where I come from for you to just ghost on people.
Yeah.
And there's some folks that I hang out with. You turn around and you're like, yo, where'd
such and such.
Where'd Sally go? Yeah. Such and such gone. Oh, yeah, they left 45 minutes ago. Oh, they didn't even say bye? Like, what the hell is that all about?
Mm-hmm.
So now I have to live with the fact that maybe I did something. And you know me, like I
drew them wrong.
I accidentally piss people off on the reg. So I have to sit with the pressures of, did I do something to you to make you leave without saying bye? Like, and this is like a legit thing for me.
That's on you.
Yeah. This is a personal problem. Like, you're okay. They just was like time to go, and they just forgot to say bye. You know.
I don't care.
Maybe.
You guys need Sally such and such.
Yeah.
You better say bye.
But Landon had a question where he was like, he wanted to know why anime characters have giant breasts and small tight clothing and all that good stuff. Which, like I said, like if you find, man, I need to find that Vice documentary. But like it just speaks to a deeper, I guess you could say, issue that they have in their culture in terms of like outwardly appearance and vain, and how vain or whatever, or how they put a really big feature. Really big emphasis on outwardly looks, right? Then we can even go back even farther to like the geisha girls and stuff like that, and how they like literally manipulate their feet from a young age so that they're smaller and they look what they say, more presentable, I think, when it was in the old court. So like I think with that being said, that just spills over into anime, because anime for them is more of like not just for like kids, if over there it's right. Adults watch it and all the other stuff too. It's like their version of sitcoms and shows. It's not just like, whereas I think sometimes we view cartoons here just as like something for kids, which I think we don't as much anymore because we have more adult based cartoons. But I think it just speaks more widely to like that's what they want to show off, and sometimes they're trying to exaggerate a point too. And sometimes it's just like Jack mentioned, it happens in the game culture too, which is like another topic that we can talk about too, in terms of like how they're trying to change that movement here. And there's been it could be resistance here and there in terms of like stereotypes and tropes that they usually rely on in terms of like how we do women and how we do heroes and the narrative of like the actual like story itself, that people tend to fall back on, So that's kind of why they do that though. But it's everywhere with that. It's even how they dress. I think some of the craziest plastic surgery that I've seen, like and let's call it artistry at this point, in terms of like facial reconstruction or even cosmetics. Not even talking about going under the knife, but I've seen some like literally augmented, and I think augmented is the best word. Augmented like bands that women over there put on their chins and stuff like that, and then cover that with makeup. That like there was if you ever just search YouTube for like makeup or crazy insane like makeup, in Japan or whatever, that it's like crazy where they're like augmenting their face, where at this point they're making themselves look more like the anime characters.
It's like masks and stuff you can wear.
And it's scary. Like, some YouTuber when she pulled a mask off, I felt like it was like the Joker.
Yeah.
What's going on right now? And then like there was a thing we talked about. Once again, check back some of our older podcasts, where the dude sued the girl because when they got married and then they had a kid. And the kid was like
came out with a big ass nose.
Came out with a not so pleasing face to the father. And he's like, "Yo, this is not what you look like." And then she revealed that like what she really looked like and stuff, and revealed that she had all this plastic surgery before they met and stuff like that. And he won that case.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, so like It just speaks to, that's why I said in the chat, it speaks to a deeper problem or issue that they have with their culture in terms of how they view it and how they get themselves across in terms of like advancement and stuff like that. So it's interesting.
And that's just it. Like some cultures, they don't care. Like they do their thing and they're happy. And who are we to tell them how to be happy?
Mm-hmm.
I could see if we had it figured out, but we don't. There's some ladies out there that like to wear a different way, that like to wear different clothing, and they like to accentuate different parts of their bodies. Dudes do that too.
That's it's always it's funny because like dudes can also do it too, but when you see a guy do it, it's like interesting, weird. Have you seen the like body modifications like the dude does with the muscles where they put the different, like I think it's like silicone or I forget what it is.
No, it's oil. It's oil.
Oh, the oil one is cool, but I'm talking about when they have the money that's the professional ones. It's like these tight jelly sacks that then they have to sculpt into looking like biceps and stuff like that. There's a guy in California that's made out
of like petroleum or something.
Yeah, like but then there's other guys that like inject oil, so then they end up looking like Popeye arms, literally.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I saw that.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
And they're trying to flex, and it doesn't really move.
Yeah,
it doesn't really flex because you. Oh,
yeah,
that's so gross. Well, I was gonna say something, but I forgot. Oh well, there it goes.
There it goes.
Yeah,
man. So
yeah, if and that's the challenge, right? Like, if they're making these crazy video games with a bunch of weirdness and there's a market for it, and according to the rules of capitalism, you have the freedom to make those things. And then if it doesn't sell, or if you're just making a gratuitous video game just for the sake of making a gratuitous video game, theory has it that if you don't have the market, then you go away.
Which leads me as a developer, like it's almost like a taboo topic, but like, how do I do this? Okay, whatever. I don't care. Whatever. Like capitalize on the move on like the Me Too movement and how like the trend right now is just to put a female lead in everything. Makes me feel like it's disingenuous that you really wanted to do that, more so that you're just capitalizing on the time, So like it's cool, it changes the narrative and like what we do in terms of telling a story. But at the same time, it's almost like the like, all right, cool. Are you going to be doing this next year? Will I still see this many like 2 years from now, or are you just appeasing the time where you right now, which then makes me feel like it's cheapening it, and it's not really. It's just like when we talk about like Black people being now looked at more in terms of awards and stuff like that, and things of like the Emmys and like the Grammys and stuff like that. Like, will this be an ongoing norm now in terms of like, cool, y'all will start to see more, or are you just appeasing the crowd? And that's how I look at it, which can sometimes be deemed as me not being me just being a naysayer. But I really feel like, if you're really gonna do it, cool. But like, I'm waiting for like 2022, or 2023. Like, will this all be the same thing? Will we still see people being nominated for Emmys and stuff like that, and all the Grammys and stuff like that 3 years from now? Will we still see a bunch of video game characters that are women that are empowering and all that stuff. And now it'll just be a norm so that like storytellers can start to tell interesting stories and not be so blatant with the whole fact that like, cool, we just chose there to be, you know, like there's a whole Battlefield thing right now that they were losing money and stuff like that because Battlefield and EA was just capitalizing, I feel like, on the movement, and they inserted, you know, women, which in terms of history there were women snipers in certain parts of like different wars and stuff like that, but like it was a blatant like making of the main character a female. And then I think the developer was on Twitter or somewhere again, once again, got himself in trouble where you could have kept it like, cool, this is what we wanted to do. But he was like, he made a mention of like doing it for his daughters or something like that, even though, you know, a little bit of backstory, Battlefield historically has been uh making games, period piece games based on, you know, period accuracy, you know. It's not totally accurate, but it's accurate to like, yes, this is what happened, this is war. And then it's supposed to be like, cool, if you want to really learn about this, and like it promotes kids to go out and learn, oh, what really happened with that part, because that's the part they're taking it from. At least that's how I've always taken it. Like, cool, I didn't know that was like a thing in the war. And I think there was a thing, my other buddy was like saying that like in this year's incarnation of Battlefield, the girl's like a sniper. She's got like red hair, stereotypical, white, and then like she has like one prosthetic arm or something like that. Which to me, like if you look into that, it's like, okay, cool, that's that video game part of it. Like, you know, red hair, one armed sniper, female badass chick, you know, that's like there, you know, so that like historically, like in Battlefield, they're like talking about a certain, you know, the designers are taking a certain part of a war, you know, or a certain part of World War II, and those different like historic battles, and building a game around it, right? That's interesting. But when you and then you have a single player campaign that doesn't necessarily have to go along, you know, be accurate, because it's obviously a story they're trying to tell, but at the same time it coincides with the history that they're there. So, and usually obviously it's been a male protagonist or whatever, and the female one part of it's fine, but at the end of the day you're going to be like, okay, cool, that's not really how it was. And like I think like a lot of their player base is like, well, you're just sticking a female in there just to stick it in there, and then the guy would get overly like defensive, saying like, well, what would I tell my daughter in this case and stuff like that. And I think he did a misstep with sometimes developers like, you should take away their Twitter, because like, dude, you don't sound right. That just sounds like you just threw a female in there because you needed to be a female this time because you want to do it for your daughters. That's not the correct marketing or speak you would say to the general public, because it's going to make you look like you're capitalizing on a movement rather than like making an amazing game, you know. And I cringed with that, you know, with that thing. I was like, dude, you could have said that so much better, but you just it's the whole thing like we talked about earlier. It's the whole like, I think you're racist because you called me out on being, you know, like it's just like developers need to take a step back and realize that like their Twitter platforms and like their and all those like it's like it's volatile. And if I was working at a major thing, I probably wouldn't even comment on my game or to the general public, because you get this whole other dynamic as a developer, and when you're talking to people that buy your game and people who play something so much that they feel like they know what they're talking about just like you do, that you have to like be careful that you don't come off as a dick. And a lot of developers lost their jobs in this last year, because male and female designers, because you know they went too elite and it looked really bad on the whole brand. So I mean Battlefield ended up delaying their stuff because they were trying to circumvent the whole Call of Duty, you know, battle that happens every year around this time. And then I think you have Red Dead Redemption coming out too from Rockstar, so they kind of pushed back on their things, but it just made them look bad. Their stock fell a little bit. Yeah, stock fell a little bit for the last couple couple weeks ago with this, and it just, you know, that kind of rollout messes up your messes up sales. It does. And everything we've talked about tonight kind of reminded me of that, because of like just the wrong response, you know. Because my other buddy who was really into it, he was a programmer in the industry for years, worked with me at a couple other places. He was like, I would have been all for if they would have picked the section of like there was a historically accurate sniper squad of, I think it was, I want to say Russian women snipers or something like that in World War II, or one of the areas like that, like, you know, a designer could have chose to use that, so then it would have had some history to back it behind it, rather than like make up this fantastical character, you know, where they could have made a character around one of those and then been like accurate, and it would have been like the same way they've done Battlefield for years for all the male characters. Like they're putting the, you know, notion around a certain bit of history and then building a made up story around those, you know, so you can learn about the real history, you know, if you did the extra research, but this story, they made a compelling story that fit into that, instead of like it being like piecemealed in with no other reason but to, I feel, capitalize on the movement, you know.
Right.
I don't know. So it's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, and we can get into it on another show, but that mentality feeds into society too, where like I find it somewhat offensive that people of color get extra points when they're taking tests in order to get into this specific prestigious college. Why don't you just not be racist and let people in, right? Or like, I think it was Harvard got caught. It was one of the Ivy League schools got caught deducting points from Asian students because Asian students are too good.
Really? Is this recent?
Yeah. Yeah. Within the past 6 months, you know, and for me,
that's crazy.
I hate when they're asking you, what color are you? I hate that. I don't.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like it would just to me, it would sound like it would just be harder for you to get in as an Asian person, only from the mere fact that like all of your peers are really good, and like it's just
because your parents make you do your homework.
Yeah, it'd just be harder to get in because there's more people that are getting in that are like you. But that's not because they're trying to circumvent people from coming in. That's more so of just like, if they're all good, they're all getting in. They only allow a certain amount of like applicants altogether. I figure each year it just be more competitive in that nature. But now that sounds like you're trying to fill quotas. Like, okay, cool, only 100,000 this, or only 30, 20, 200 of these types, and only 400 of these types, and only 500. That sounds. And
you can't let these Asians get out of hand with all this knowledge.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that's
they're gonna take over.
Yeah, that's great. That's scary sounding from Harvard. Well, that's not scary. It's not totally surprising, but like, it's like, yo, we're already at our 800, you know, quota for like how many Asians we have going to Harvard, but we're gonna have to start docking points so that we can. That sounds crazy. I don't know. Yeah, that sounds crazy. People that make decisions in the office.
So goofy.
Always comes out.
Anyway, let's go ahead and get into
You're the inspiration. You bring feeling to my life. You're the inspiration.
So I'm going to cover literally everything we just finished talking about in one solid
pick the character
inspiration.
Nice.
I got an Asian dude who lives in Austria drawing black people and white people. He don't give a damn. He got dudes. He got girls. He don't care. He got 100,000 followers. Bam. Thank you. He's got manners.
Shoot, that's Stephen Hawking when I'm dead.
Is it the like half smile he's doing? It looks like he's looking right at you, Jack.
That's good. That's really good.
So yeah, we're looking at someone's a little too excited. Oh, hi. No.
See, you know what? That actually is a perfect example of everything we were just talking about, because you can very easily make Stephen Hawking look terrible, because obviously he's disabled and obviously he's got some funny things about him, and yet he made him look incredibly charismatic and charming and totally nailed it.
He did.
Meanwhile, you got Black Panther's dirty cousin over here looking.
Who was that supposed to be?
Look at those teeth.
That's Black Panther's the one that they were supposed to fight.
Oh, is that supposed to be Michael B. Jordan?
Michael B. Jordan, thank you. Yeah.
This your king? That movie. Sorry. This your king?
So yeah, I mean, look at.
Hey, auntie.
You got. She's cute. She's got some big lips, but she's Mighty Peach. But it's a
beautiful drawing. It's good. I like
this is another guy that I thought.
Who is that? Who is that?
Nolan. He's a caricature artist that I don't.
There's a picture of him there on the left. Click out. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah. So he's a caricature artist. Nolan Neum. He's I don't know if I've ever had him as a artist inspiration, but he's got the skills to be.
Yeah.
Look at little Michael Jackson looking like
the Michael Jackson one. It's like captured like that time period too. It's really good. Is it just me? Is the way he draws his character? You see it. You see the character, right? But you see the person also. Like look at who's that? Aretha Franklin. It's something about it. So and to me, and I know this is like a style of caricature art, right? We can't say that the editorial guy should be drawing like this, but like,
yeah, of course,
like the facial, like just the nose, the mouth, and the eyes. You know, I feel like really cool. Like he captures the face.
He gets an expression and like an emotion across that is fitting for the character.
I love Vin Reams, and I feel like even with Vin Reams, like I see
but you could argue that is just as exaggerated as the Serena Williams one.
But you see Vin Reams' face in that, though. Yeah.
Yes.
This is a good one. That's a good example from everything we talked about tonight. Like even the second one where it shows the process. Like there's a difference, which I guess it's
even his process ones are super dope. Because look at on the left side
shadow pass. That's nuts.
Yeah. On the left side, he shows the layers that are being implemented.
Wow.
I think this is really, really cool, very helpful stuff right here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all you guys should look at this one.
His shadow passes are really amazing. Those look like CG renders.
Yeah. There's the one on the Aretha one that was like, literally it looked like that. It was like crazy.
Yeah.
Like he can go two different. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, the one. Yeah, the dark one. He can go two different ways with this, right, Jack? Based on just having that, it could be a totally different like.
Yeah, and look at that. He's not even black, and it still looks like the exact. Like it looks totally great.
Was that just based off the light at that point? Was that the light and stuff?
Yeah, that's like.
I think that last one was.
Like even the guy from James Bond, the bottom left. I forget the guy's name. That's even awesome too. Yeah, like I just see it. Exaggerated nose. Do I have I just realized.
This one came out so good. She's absolutely striking in this drawing.
I like how he did Harry too. It's really good.
Yeah.
This guy is good, man. It's a good one.
These are phenomenal.
The ones are good. Like all those are good. Even the one
like that freaking shadow pass. This is a straight up CG render.
I want him to like exaggerate on the shadow pass. Like I feel like you just like keep filling it in. Like I want to know how he's doing it. Okay, where does he live? I wonder if he speaks English.
I'm sure he does.
We need process.
He lives in Austria.
He posts all of his posts are in English.
Yeah, I want to process show with him.
And he's using
Like, break down
Procreate.
Yeah, I've seen Mike Henry like was showing off some ways he like shadows and gets to that point.
These
Gamora. Look at the Gamora one. Oh, even that one's crazy. Look at that shadow. Yeah, Jack. I will give the shadow pass is the best part of this. Like he's learned some technique that he's like that he does.
Yeah.
That's like
that image is
That's
go back one. Like that could just be an image in and of itself. That's like a movie poster.
Yeah. That's like ridiculous.
Yeah. Phenomenal. This dude is bananas.
Nice one.
Here you go, Jack.
That's so good.
So good, man. Yeah.
It really is.
I don't know if it's the way he has his head cocked, you know, like, and
but that's
smile.
Like, that's what I mean. I mean, that's so like indicative of his disability and who he is. But he's like made him very. That's really good.
This Mickey Mouse one is legit.
Mickey Mouse Wolverine.
That's a true mashup right there.
That's like 7 mashups in one. I feel like that's some Rat Fink.
I feel like they did.
Yeah.
I feel like they showed that. I feel like I saw mashups like that when Disney bought Marvel.
Dang, that Robert Downey Jr. is really good.
Isn't that amazing?
That's the Eyes one too. You know, like that's a very anime-esque one too to me. You know, because all his character, all his expressiveness sometimes is in his face and his eyes.
And I like how he has line work, but it's barely there.
Right.
This Peter Parker.
Hey, look, video time lapse.
The Peter Parker one's perfect.
Get out of here! Look at that shadow pass.
Wow.
Look at.
Okay, here we go, Charlie.
Okay.
Bam. There's your sketch.
I mean, even that I would be happy with.
A little bit of line work.
So we're all good. We can all do this so far.
Shadow.
I can do this. I'm good. I can still do this. Now we're getting into things I can't do.
This is where we
oh my gosh.
As mortals
right there.
You can't.
Oh, it sucks.
That's like old school painting right there. That's like the proper shading.
Jack, I feel like in the way you draw with those, if you ever had to do like when you're talking about last week having to turn your drawings into 3D and stuff like that weird shadow pass with no eyes. I feel like it starts to push like a great way you would have to do the no eye look. the no pupils, the white eyes, just the whites.
Look at. How dare you, sir?
That's cool.
I will support.
Yeah.
There he is. There's your Michael B. Jordan. The full version.
Joaquin? Yes. Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. Dude is bananas.
This dude has a lot of
even these.
Look at
these
that
were
one.
Amazing.
That was
that's like
style.
Mad Magazine.
Yeah, that's a different style. That's where he took this shadow pass and went crazy. He just kept going.
Yeah. So this dude. Oh, look at, and he just throws down live and direct.
Just so you know, this is where I came from. I feel like it's the evolution of like the sketch artists I talked about. Like, did you see it?
Look at this one is amazing.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, I feel like he's a sketch artist. You know, a character artist evolved, and his evolution is like.
Look at that little mouse rabbit, George Lucas. That needs to be like a little dude that animated thing that just runs around.
Yeah.
Let me grab it. Come here.
Eminem.
That's a good one. I feel like he's a really good sketch artist back in the day, and still, but like I love that like if he sits longer with it, it just gets better and better,
Yeah.
Like he can go really fast, but like you let him spend a week on that thing and it's like or even crazy.
Man, Michelle looks wrecked.
I'm sorry. Yeah, everyone has that one. You missed the mark on that one.
Well, but it does look like her, but Jesus, she's wrecked.
I don't know if it's a jawline.
She looks like she took a bat to the face.
So this is one of those ones where you think about that's a cool one too. That's great. This one is
look at Sam.
Sam Jackson is looking weird too.
You're like, can you draw me? Because this, I wonder how many can you draw me? Because this.
Anyway, yeah, this guy's feed is super, super fun.
Yeah, he's got look at him.
And I've been waiting for the perfect time to share him, and today was that day.
Yeah, he's like, this is perfect.
Yeah. Oh, just in case you doubted the power of his life drawing skills there.
Yeah, he's there.
Take that.
I mean, I had a guy who went to school with named Mario that was, I feel like, could hit it on all cylinders like that. But he did really good.
This is pen, pineapple, apple pen guy. Boop. Anyway, yeah.
Good find.
Good find.
Cheating. Xiding. Xidingart. Cheating art. Goofy ass.
Yeah.
Charlie, are you going to share away?
Yeah. I'm going to share away. I was pulling it up now. The more you know.
And knowing is half the battle.
Right. All right, here we go. Let me get the middle one. There we go. And boom. So my artist this week's a 2D illustrator in the vein of what we've been talking about today. So I feel I'm going 2D this week too. His name is Igor Sid, 2D illustrator. But a little bit different, like very, very like he's got like a lot of muted tones and like really detailed work, that you just gotta sit and stare at. He's one of those artists where you look at his work and you can definitely say, oh, I know who that is right away, because it's such a succinct style to his work. So let's look at his main page. This is the first image I wanted to start you guys off with. But if we go to the main page here, he has a bunch of different styles and stuff like that. It gets really dark with some of them. It gets very gestural with some stuff,
Mature content.
Yeah, just like there's some chest outs and stuff like that, but some heavy things. But like, I love the way he renders his stuff here. It's just different. It feels very, and I don't know the time period. It has a classical art feel to me, which I think is really cool. When you look at like how detailed the work can be, look at this stuff. It's like really cool, really, really cool stuff. Let's keep going here, so I don't know why I picked this one. It's not one I usually pick, but like I really liked it because in some of the life drawing stuff that he had was really cool.
Yeah.
That I thought was really classical and really elegant for him being a digital illustrator. His stuff was really, really nice. And you get down to some of his work that he's done on games and stuff like that. It gets really a lot going on in each of the scenes, and I'm just wondering how long did each of these take? Like, even if
there's so much detail in those.
It's like that's like a lot of detail. Like this here, like your line of sight that goes all the way back to the horizon. Like, there's a lot of detail in here for it to make it feel like just a bunch of like demons and warriors fighting on top of each other. It looks really cool, you know. So yeah, this is the guy I chose. You know, he's done a lot of the stuff for the Warhammer series, which that style of game is very graphical anyway. You have it's a lot of detail in that because it comes from like that whole, you know, tabletop series and stuff like that, and all those. If you've ever been to any of those kind of like game shops and stuff like that that have different card games and tabletop games, a lot of those artists have to be on point. Like if you talk about like, you know, Dungeons and Dragons series or like Magic the Gathering cards, you know, even if you didn't play those cards, but just the artwork on those cards are very, very detailed stuff. You know, it's a very unique industry that tabletop and stuff is. But then I feel like he just has some other really cool stuff, you know, here that like that was like kind of different also too. Like as you get down farther in his like his repertoire, which is kind of cool too. You know, it gets into like this.
Hey, if you go back two. That's his farmer. his clumsy farmer getting undressed.
You gotta be careful. Farmer.
That dude's got one hell of a farmer's tan.
You know what this is? This is Santa Claus.
In Mad Max.
Yeah, weird take on Santa. You know,
that farmer tan is crazy.
Yeah, he's
the
like
robotic peg leg.
Yeah, it's rough out here. You know, these kids gotta get these presents.
These kids gotta get these presents.
You know, so like he has really good artwork. I love his work, and even all his mature stuff. I looked at this beforehand. I was like, it's not that bad. It's more classical. Whoa, that one's kind of crazy, but it's cool. And like these, I've had artist friends in college, like their sketchbooks to be like heavily black and white, and like they use the stump so much that it's like it gets these really cool gradients and values and stuff. They're really nice. So I like that a lot of this stuff looks like it's drawn by pencil and stuff too, and then scanned in to be created. You know, but it's just he even does like the like hash. He even takes time on the backgrounds, right? So even though this is like a 2D drawing, in terms of like a pencil drawing, the background, if you look at the background, it has this like, I don't know what's that method called, Jack, maybe you know, where it's like the lines and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like how long does this take? That you're like sitting there doing at different angles to make these.
It's hard. I mean, is this digital?
I can't tell. Some of the early stuff
because there's rake brushes in Photoshop that you can slap that around like.
They look a little like digital brushy, but it's kind of hard to tell.
I can't tell.
Either way, it's
it's great.
Nice. Either way.
Yeah, it's cool, you know. So this guy, look him up, Igor Sid. Great
Igor guy. Sid.
Nice.
The tier ones are always like a bag. I don't know what's going on. Even though I looked at all these, I thought I could open them up, but they don't. So, yeah, it's cool. That's really good rendering. I don't know. I think that might have been like painted. So it's cool. Igor Sid. Check him out.
Excellent. Thank you, sir.
All right. I'm sticking with 2D as well. Kuruman 89. Tan Shi Hui.
Ooh, it's cool.
And it's super stylish, super exaggerated, since we're talking about exaggeration.
Yeah.
But he also just totally gets form and like chiseled. Like he really owns that like planar, the planar look of understanding the planes of an object and just like kind of rolling with it. Good sense of color and line, but I was most attracted to he turns some of it into like layered, almost 3D types of things. It's real weird. I can't really tell what's going on if it's just the way he paints it. But it looks like a video game object, but it's not. It's just a Photoshop. But he's got these really cool characters too.
I love it. This is cool.
Come on, man. internets.
On Instagram.
How is it I'm having a live podcast, but it can't load that image? Yeah, these shapes and stuff in here.
Shapes are really cool.
Yo, that's
I like
really,
that.
really cool.
really interesting. I don't know.
I would model that little scene for some reason.
Yeah, it's really asking to be turned into like game models. A lot of this like Evangelion stuff and these like mechs, which I can take or leave, but he still kills them.
That's a cool character. Cool.
It's like a take on Piccolo, I think.
Yeah, Piccolo. Yeah.
But like that's pretty cool from Battle Chasers.
Yeah, he definitely has his own style. That's great. Like.
No. Hadouken!
Nice.
But yeah, really, really nice shape.
It's almost chaotic in a sense of like, I don't know how he starts the drawing. The drawing probably looks like this like weirdness when you start.
Yeah, it's almost like those really loose brush strokes. He doesn't really have process videos, so it's a little hard to tell. But
probably because it's like a feeling until it jumps out at him or something.
Like it's just awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, there's like 7 characters in here. There's like a thing eating his arm and like holding onto the stump. I don't know what's going on, but it's cool. And then he's even got this like little silly stuff from what's that from the little bot?
Oh, I don't.
Game Boy.
Adventure Time.
Adventure Time, yeah.
I mean, look at these Adventure Time like riffs. These are crazy.
I want a game like that though.
Yeah, I mean, this is totally like a game that would be. I mean, this is cool. So yeah, I will not try to attempt to pronounce the name again.
Yeah,
but it's KUDAMAN _89.
Mm-hmm.
He's got another follower today.
Yeah, there's a little Yoda.
Yes,
that'd be a cool one to do. Yeah, he's good. I like him.
Yeah, I wish I could see this stuff being modeled for sure. It's really calling. Like this looks like a low poly model.
Yeah, it's a good exercise in form for that because like you really got to stare at that and figure out,
Yeah, you can.
You're not gonna nail it on the first try.
You can almost see each polygon, right? Like how it would lay and.
Yeah, that would take a little bit to figure out how that would look.
But then he's got some line work that's a little more, fluid.
But this is cool. I love when they do this. When they they pull back the curtain a little bit, be like, just so you know, I will fuck you up in this drawing.
Yeah.
I don't only do this one thing. I also do this incredibly well. But I'm just gonna give you these 2. So go away.
I like drawing in the way because that's my style. But just so you know, if I had to tighten this shit up, I could do that for you. And I know everybody don't sound as like confrontational as I do, but like that's what I feel like he was saying. Because that's what I would do.
You go way back, and it gets way rougher and a lot more like graffiti, like street art stuff.
And I love that. Yeah.
So it's like he just took this real quick turn where he's like, "All right, I'm gonna take my weird characters and start polygonifying them and like color it." And just took this really cool turn. Yeah. So check him out.
Yo, Jack wins this week. This is awesome. Love this one. I love that. That's so cool. I'm going to.
So hey, Charlie, if people are looking for you online, where can they find you?
So I got a couple different places you can find me. My main website is cardcollector.com/Charlie B. Williams. You can see all of my recent 3D artwork and archive 3D artwork. The latest reel is up there, and it's also up there on Vimeo. But check it out. You can get there and see it there. You can also find me on Instagram.com/CharlieBW3. But if you enjoy, you probably don't want to see all my food pics. Omelets and stuff like that. Probably make you a little jealous, but it's okay. I understand. Greatness is on that page, and not everybody can handle it. I understand it. You can also go over to Pinterest, pinterest.com/CharlieBW3. All these different references. If you like the section of what we do here for artist inspiration, I have a bunch of other different stuff. I have boards and stuff that I do for work on there, and like it's a good reference tool. If you're not using Pinterest as an artist, you're cutting off your foot and your arms. You need to use it. It's really, really good. Get it in your life. Check it out. That's it.
Excellent. How about you, Jack?
I'm at sketchbookjack.com and sketchbookjack on Instagram and Pinterest and a couple other places.
Excellent.
Yo, everybody wants to see my omelets, Jack. Double entendre. Jack's amazing on the sound.
You can find me at coconutjustice.com, Coconut Justice everywhere else. Sketch Zone, you can find us at sketch.zone. This was episode 159.
That's crazy. That's cool.
160 next week. Yeah.
I
love the even ones. Yes.
I was trying to find someone to come on, but everyone keeps saying no. But,
I have an idea for that, but I ain't gonna tell everybody else is watching, so we'll talk about it off camera.
Perfect.
Got an idea.
Oh yeah. So you can find us. You can go to sketch.zone. We have all the links to Facebook, Twitter, all that stuff there. If you are on Instagram, follow us, instagram.com/sketchzone podcast. And if you are, Carlos is scaring people away. And if you're live, you can harass us like Noel is doing.
Get triggered.
You might accidentally get put on timeout like she did one week.
Noel, he doesn't have power. We don't let him do that anymore. Don't worry. This is a free speech zone. Go ahead, speak your truth, girl.
So this week the fun prompt is a clumsy farmer undressing. And if you draw a clumsy farmer undressing, go ahead and tag us on Instagram. Go through the process of going tag someone and then tag us. Don't just at Sketch Zone Podcast because those get lost in the shuffle. Yeah, and you're more than welcome to join us here. We try to do this every Thursday at 9:00 Pacific Standard Time. But if you can't catch us live, you can catch us on Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play Music, and iTunes.
We're there.
I believe that is it. Sketch.zone. We just finished 159. Go get that done.
Yes.
And that is it. Everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good week.
See you next week.